This is Lola Lee T. Hey everybody, welcome to 90 Day Fiancé Diaries, Season 3, Episode 1. So let's do a recap and review. The new season premiered March 21st, 2022, and I cannot believe that these two are still together. Asuelo and Kelani. I love Kalani's name. So Asuelo and Kelani go to a pumpkin patch with their two kiddos. Kelani still talks to Asuelo like she is his elementary school teacher. Everything about her reminds me of an elementary school teacher. So these two have a chat with the producer about the status of their marriage. Asuelo says everything is good in their marriage, but Kelani says, I don't think we're doing very well at all. I think you feel good because you get to get out of the house and you get quiet time and you get free time. When my mom is gone, I don't get that. Then Kelani tells Asuelo again about the imbalance of the workload. She is doing more of the raising of the kiddos. And I remember in the past seasons, this was a big problem. And I guess it's still happening. I think in Asuelo's culture, the women take care of the kids. So he doesn't feel that he has to participate. Anyway, apparently Asuelo gets frustrated because Kelani doesn't trust him to watch the children without her around. And I also hope that he's still not giving her the silent treatment when he gets upset with her, because he used to do that and he would lock himself in his room for days at a time. And apparently Asuelo has given Kelani reason to be nervous because of the parking lot incident. And I guess Oliver ran into the parking lot when Asuelo was supposed to be on babysitting duty. So I'm on Team Kelani for this one. I wouldn't trust him either, especially when it comes to watching the kiddos. If he did something like that, he definitely needs to be supervised while he is supervising. So Kelani is obviously very frustrated with Asuelo, and she feels like she is at her breaking point. I still cannot believe that these two are still together and that they're still married. They have been married now for 3 years. They have so many problems. Not only do they have problems communicating, but Asuelo's mom and sister do not see eye to eye with Kelani and her family. Well, let's just say there's a lot of friction. And on one of the past seasons, I remember that the sister tried to beat up Kelani and her sister. Absolute insanity. Kelani did say that divorce is still a possibility, but you know what? I don't believe it. If she hasn't already divorced Asuelo, she's not going to divorce him. And I do not understand why these two are still together. So Julia and Brandon give us a peek into their lives. Brandon is the one with the helicopter parents. They smother him. They love him way too much. They are in his business too much. They do not want him to leave home ever, or they didn't want him to leave home ever. And if it wasn't for Julia, I'm sure they would still be living with his parents. So last time we saw these two, Julia, well, she was so happy that Brandon finally agreed to leave his parents' farm. The two moved into their very own apartment so that they could have more privacy and be more independent. So at this point, Julia is no longer happy at the apartment. She thinks it's too small. She wants more space. And their dog, Simba, is still living on the farm with Brandon's parents. And they really want to move into a home so that they can have Simba living with them. So they go to visit Brandon's dad. They're at his place. Brandon's dad tells him and Julia that he really wants Brandon to take over the farm. Him and his wife are getting older, and the farm is getting to be a bit much for them. They want to move into a smaller home. And of course, he reassured Julia and Brandon that they would not be living with them. The farm would be all theirs. A couple days later, while they're at dinner, it's Brandon, it's Julia. They're out with Brandon's parents. And Brandon's dad finally tells Betty about his idea of Brandon taking over the farm. And she appears to be really shocked and says that she needs some time to think about it. I was actually really shocked that Julia wanted to do this because she really wanted to be away from the farm. But she has some conditions, and some of her conditions would be to get rid of the animals. Sell the animals. And she would also want to make some changes to the property and the house. And surprisingly enough, Brandon really wants to take his dad up on his offer. So it's now really up to Betty to decide if she's okay with the plans. And lucky for Brandon and Julia, their apartment lease doesn't end for another 5 months. So they're going to have plenty of time to think about this. Do you guys remember Tom Brooks? He was Darcy's boyfriend, I guess. Well, he has a new girlfriend. Her name is Mariah. They've been dating for over a year now, and he wants to propose to her. They're doing the long distance dating thing, which took a toll on their relationship. So Tom and Mariah had a little chat. He asked her a question. He asked her how he would fit into her life with her 2 high school age sons. And she said if Tom moved to Las Vegas, they would make it work. And that's all that Tom had to hear. So he popped the question, and poor Tom, he didn't get the answer he was expecting. She said no. Tom was obviously upset, but he still wanted to be in a relationship with her. And in Mariah's one-on-one interview, she said the reason that she said no was because her kiddos are her priority. And there has been a lot of talk online about Mariah's face. And I guess people are saying, the streets are talking, that she has had a lot of plastic surgery. And people are saying that Tom certainly has a type. Do you guys remember Courtney? Well, she gave us an update on her life. She still lives with her parents, and she doesn't pay rent, and she doesn't feel she should have to because, well, her parents' mortgage is paid off. She talked about her 2 breakups, and she is now a foot model, but she hasn't done any foot pics in a while because she lost her toenail. She went on a date with this interesting fella. They had absolutely nothing in common. It didn't go well. I think that Courtney seems a little lost, and I really think that her parents need to kick her out of the house. Just put her stuff outside and just let her fend for herself. I was a little bit shocked that she felt that she didn't have to pay rent because her parents' mortgage is paid off. Why does her parents have to support her? She's, I think, 30 years old. Her parents have no obligation to support her. She is an adult. It's just shocking to me that she feels so entitled. Courtney, it's time for you to stop relying on your parents. Stop mooching off your parents. Okay, let's talk about Ellie and Victor. So Ellie moved back to Seattle, and she just continued with her old life. She was lucky that the sale of her restaurant didn't go through officially. And apparently, Victor's fiance visa had just been approved, and he was coming to America the very next day. They obviously had a really, really emotional reconnection at the airport, because they have been apart for about 4 months. Victor really, really liked Ellie's house, and she did something really sweet. She gifted Victor with her late husband's guitar, and he seemed to be very touched by that gesture. These two plan to get married, of course, and I hope that Victor has broken up with all of his girlfriends, because Ellie just seems like such a sweet lady and she doesn't really deserve that. Victor, you need to commit to her 100%. And I know that they had some issues around money, so I hope that those issues have been resolved for them. So that's my recap and review. Thank you guys so very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And go follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Search for Lola Lee T. I love you guys. Bye.